What's up, everyone? This is a quick tutorial of how to make your own website if you missed the session that we had or if you were not able to follow along. Um, this is going to be super oversimplified, and I'm going to talk about a couple things here. So, firstly, there are other videos in the slides that I'm going to that you have access to that are much more detailed and you can watch, and it really depends how much effort you want to put in. This video here is a quick, easy effort how you can make a website without writing a single line of code, looking at a single line of code, doing any type of backend, any type of domain buying, anything like that. And then I will show you guys where you can go more in depth. No matter what, if you want to make a super advanced website with advanced features where you want to actually edit the code and have a backend, you have to start with these steps. And so hopefully this will get you interested. So just an example, look at my final product here. I made this in like 10 minutes. Notice the advanced like Persian architecture in the background. My headshot has links to everything. There's animations. It's everything about myself. It has a timeline of what I did. It has all my publications, abstracts, etc. So this, something like this, like 3 years ago, you'd have to pay thousands of dollars for. Now you can do a couple minutes. So how do we do it? Right, you're gonna go to V0. So what you would do is just search V0. It's basically for making front end, and front end versus back end is front end is what you see right here, but it's only visual. Back end is like the brains, right? So your front end is just your skin and everything, but your brains, it's connecting to the back end. So this button right here is front end, but the back end would be, the functionality of it going somewhere, essentially. But yeah, so you would go to V0, which I already have open in the other tab, and let me just, for completeness sake, do this with you guys. And yeah, you basically have this here, and you can now make a new project. I would make a new project, right? It's website. I only have 3 messages left today, so I'm not gonna do anything live with you guys, but I'll show you guys what I did. So before you do any of this, V0, you can actually go and search for templates of other people's websites, and you could use those, but I would recommend, just for sake of your own creativity, going and doing your own thing. So what you're going to do is actually go to Claude Code, and what you're going to, or Claude, and it's free. Like, I don't have anything here. You would just do a new chat, and I'll show you guys what I had here, what I did here. So basically, you're going to go to Claude, and you're going to say, hey, V0, I want to make a modern landing page based off my CV, which I will give it. So I gave it my CV, and then I want it to be a personal website. I want golden cover theme, ancient Persian aesthetic. Give me a prompt to give to V0. Now, that's what I want, but the point is you do what you want. And some things I wish I did is also say some extra things that you want to give it. So ancient Persian aesthetic, later on I realized, hey, I want to have actual images of like ancient Persian sites in my website as the background, right? That would have saved me time. So you want to be as detailed as possible. You can say, hey, I want my headshot to be in it, and you would have to provide your headshot later. Hey, I want it to look like X website. So what I did, actually, you notice it actually looks like my own website, which I actually coded right here. So this is my own website, and honestly I think it looks a little better. A little bit better, but my website has a lot of functionality to it. And what you would do is basically you could copy this link and say, hey, I want it to kind of look and resemble this website. So if you have someone's personal website that you think is cool, and you could go search for cool personal websites, you could also add that link in there. So basically, once you've done that, in Cursor, it's going to give you a prompt. You're going to copy this prompt. You're going to go to V0, wherever I was, and you're going to basically paste that prompt. And when you paste that prompt, you're going to add your CV or whatever you wanted to have. You're going to add your headshot. You're going to add maybe any images you want. You're going to tell, and that's the only thing you're going to do, because you should have told Claude everything you wanted. And now it's going to think, it's going to take a couple minutes, it's going to make stuff, and it's going to give you something, and it's probably going to be really, really good, better than you expected. And at this point, you can now do different things. You can give it feedback about what you want, etc. You might not even have to waste prompting if you can kind of understand code a little bit, or even just be able to go like education section. You can actually change the text yourself here on the code side. But if you want, you can just text it. You can say, hey, I don't like what you wrote, education, change this, change that. And yeah, you basically tell it what you want. Be mindful about your prompts. And yeah, note that it's going to make some things like this is not functional, right? Like the whole point of this would be if you wanted to go more in depth, you basically could download it or add it to your code base. So basically you could add it to actually have it inside of Cursor or VS Code, like a code editor, and go from there and actually just start messing with it there. But that's going to be a whole different thing, and you can watch tutorials on that later on your own. There's many YouTube links, and there's 2-hour tutorials on how to do this. This is like a 10-minute tutorial, how to make a website in 10 minutes. If you're a busy med student, you don't care to write a single line of code. So once you've done that, you can talk around with it and edit things like you saw here. And then what you would do is you would publish it to the web. Basically, you publish it here, and you make a project, you customize your domain, so you can choose a domain that you want. So I just chose this random one because I don't care. This is not my website. You make sure you have created a project. It's pretty simple. And then you would click publish. Eventually it would publish, and you would go, for example, you can go to your dashboard. Let me see. This is my dashboard. So if I go to my projects here, I have a couple other projects that I have, but you could go here and it would have your website, and it's uploaded. It's a literal website. So you click on the link. This is what it would show up as. Now, if you want to make this your own website with no VO Vercel, and it's just like whatever.com, you'd have to buy a domain. They're very cheap, maybe $10 for a whole year. And then you could connect that through Vercel, and that would be a whole different tutorial, which I also have YouTube links for. You could go click, watch those, and it's very simple. Once you buy the domain, they give you some codes and whatever, like numbers for IPs. You would give it those numbers that are supposed to be confidential, and it would host that website that you made on there. So I just want to make it clear that this is super brief, super quick. I did this instead of a slideshow because I don't like making slides, and I think this is more useful. And basically what I want to say is from here, I want to be like the quarterback. So I've given you the things that you can do, the tools that you can use, and basically from here you can go to Cursor. You could go anywhere. You could go more in depth. You could make your own functionality. Like, for example, my website has like my own AI, or it could be like, you could talk to myself, basically. Tell me about Yusuf. And it'll like, oh, well, great. So basically what happened is I don't pay for Gemini. So people have talked to me too much. I need to pay to have that work. But that used to work, trust me. But basically, yeah, you don't really need to know how to code, but it'd be great if you learned a little bit. And yeah, so this is my tutorial on how to make a very 10-minute quick website. I should have said this to start, but this is very important. It makes you stand out a lot, especially when you get to ERAS. You basically have an online CV. You can keep going back to your website, updating it when you do new things. And when you do that, it really helps you stand out. They think you're more technically inclined. You are more technically inclined. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and I hope this was helpful.